You ain't got to be quiet, mate. The microphone. The microphone will probably cancel out your voice anyway, so you ain't got to be quiet. You ain't got to be silent. Right, we've got the background music on. Hello, everyone. How you doing today? Let's get rid of that. Let's bring up. YouTube. Still no one in here. Still no one in here yet. Yeah, no one watching yet. Yeah, so I've got 0 there, and then there's people's likes, and then there's people there. So I have this live stream up here as well, and then if the people chat, you can see what they're talking about. Right, one person in. Yeah, I guess so. If you're in there. What time have we got? 12:27. Frame up. Hello, everyone. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid to say hi. No problem. Hello, everyone. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid to say hi. Hi there, Makizm Genov. If you're having a good day, hope you're behaving, and if you're not, don't get caught. If you're having a good day, hope you're behaving, and if you're not, don't get caught. If you're having a good day, hope you're behaving, and if you're not, don't get caught. If you're having a good day, hope you're behaving, and if you're not, don't get caught. 18 people. Hello all. Like I said, don't be afraid to say hello. 18 people. Hello. Like I said, don't be afraid to say hello. We'll be starting at 12:30. This is a news channel that I report on the news that the mainstream media just refuses to report on. A bit frustrating. I can fully understand why people get pissed off with the MSM. I, for one, will never watch them again. I think they're all corrupt fuckers. So I decided to do my own. Fuck them. And report on the real news that's going on in Britain and sometimes across the world. But most of the time, in Britain. Most of the time. This is a bit of a right-wing channel, so if you're a lefty, if you're a massive lefty bender, you might want to leave. It's probably not for you. And if you stay in as a lefty and start leaving a load of snotty comments, there's every chance I'll tell you to fuck off. Won't that be fun? We got less than a minute to go, and then we shall begin. So this is available on X. We are live streaming on YouTube. We are live streaming, and I will be uploading my own version of this later on, and that will be in landscape view. So if you think to yourself, do you know what? I'd rather watch this with the full screen or watch it on the TV, then feel free to hang on till later in the day, and there will be a landscape view video version of this uploaded, and you can watch it with a bigger screen that way on your TV. How amazing is that, eh? Fucking hell, we don't mess about here. Not at Dick Payne Reports News. Fucking hell, no. So we have a few seconds to go now, and then we'll be going live. Just getting set up. Right, 12:31. We're now late. We're now late. That's how much of a fuck up I am. We're now late. Right, I'm going live on my video of this, the better video of this probably, the landscape view in 3, 2, 1. Video of this, the better video of this probably. Hello, and welcome to Dick Payne Reports News live at 12:30. If you're watching this in landscape view, then you are not live. You cannot comment. No. You cannot have anything read out on the show. Absolutely not. We have some people in the chat right now. They're saying hi. I'm going to read each of their messages out. Ready? One says hi all. The other says hi. Another person says hi. And then another person said hi. And then another person said hello. And then another person said hi. Fucking great. What a conversation that is. That's the depth of conversation you can expect at DPR News. It's incredible. Well done to everyone here. Fucking hell. Let's get some news, shall we? We have Emily Wilding Davison on X, who has said terrifying attacks in Birmingham. A 12-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of trying to rape 2 women in Birmingham city centre in attacks just minutes apart. So this is a guy, this is a twat, probably a foreigner, probably an invader, that has decided, I know, I'm going to go out and rape a girl. Well, that's a good idea, isn't it? Not content with his first failed attempt, so he had a go at one. She managed to fight him off, tell him to fuck off, send him on his way. And he thought, well, that's not enough. I'll have another go, shall I? What a cunt. Fucking hell. First woman targeted on Church Street about 12:50 a.m. This was on a Friday night, Saturday morning. So presumably he was targeting drunk women on their way home from some kind of party, some kind of clubbing situation. He thought that is when women will be most vulnerable because they're drunk, they're intoxicated. That's the level of compassion that these people have for the British public, especially women. They think to themselves, I'm going to rape somebody. I'm going to wait until they're drunk, intoxicated, tired, waiting to go home or driving home. And then they pounce, they go for them. And even if they get fucked over in one of these attacks, they're happy to go for it again. Fucking disgusting cunts. Right, we've got both women managed to escape, but members of the public stepped in. The suspect remains in custody, police said. Police are urging info from the public, but no description reported. So they're not given the ethnicity, the age, or anything of the man. Make of that what you will. It's a bit suspicious in my book. We're used to, if it's a white man, we're used to them saying, white man did this. But in this instance, they've not said such a thing. They've left that to your discretion. I'm going to say that was a foreigner. That's what I'm going to say. We have Mario Norful on X, who has said Apple just flipped the switch on UK for iPhones. So if you're watching this on an iPhone right now, do feel free to write in and let me know if this is true or not. I have not confirmed this. This is just speculation. I want to stress that, please. So this guy has said that Apple just flipped the switch on UK iPhones. Verify you're 18 plus or your device gets locked into child mode. Imagine that. You wake up on a Saturday morning, I don't know, you're feeling a bit fucking hungover, a bit shitty, and you think, I don't know, I'll tug one out and fucking, you know, make myself feel a little bit better. Give myself a little bit of a treat. No, you can't, because your iPhone has now put you in child mode and deems you a child, unless I've been told, unless you have had the account for longer than 18 years, it will then assume that you're over 18 years old and you will not get locked into child mode. But if you're thinking of creating a new account, if you have a account that's less than 18 years old, my word, you're in for a world of hurt, because it's now locked in child mode. And unless you scan your ID, link a credit card, or let Apple check your account data with verifications needed, you're going to need to face scan, you're going to need to dick pic, you're going to need to fucking snap a picture of your feet for them to fucking nonce over, just so that you can access an 18 plus site. What a load of cunts. Once again, Apple iPhone can go fuck themselves. This is why I work with Android, because I'm not a silly bugger. Once again, Apple. We have on X, once again, we have ViceGrad24, who have posted an amazing video. The interviewer asks a lefty woman, is the Marseille neighborhood peaceful? The leftist said, yes, very peaceful and diverse. We live in peace. Oh, isn't that nice? That's lovely. Instantly, right? So she said that. And then instantly a migrant appears and threatens to hit a Frenchman for smoking during Ramadan. Says it's haram and provocative. So she's saying everyone lives there peacefully. Not a problem. Loving it. It's diverse but peaceful, she says. But then, immediate contradiction. Immediately, as soon as she's fucking said those stupid fucking words, there's another twat comes along and proves her completely wrong by saying, hey, I'm a Muslim. Your actions offend me. You have to stop doing what you're doing to appease me. By saying, hey, brilliant, love it. Fuck me, what a country, what a fucking world we live in. We have Lee Stanleys, who says, God bless, God be loved. This specials, Palms, Easter's, seasons for this Lords. I am gonna guess that English isn't your first language there, mate, but good try. I appreciate the sentiment and the message that you're putting across there. Well done, good stuff. We have HJB News, who has posted a video to say that Muslims in the UK are now creating their own security firms to patrol their communities. Soon they will introduce Sharia law. Yeah, because they've already tried doing this before. Back in the 2010s, they started doing patrols in some London areas, and I think in a few Birmingham areas, I think it was, where they started doing, and they called it Sharia patrols, where if you were caught out and about on the streets of Birmingham or London with alcohol, without a hijab on, without a niqab on, without a burqa on, you were told to go home. You were told to empty that alcohol onto the floor, get rid of the body. My intentions revealed. Get rid of the bottle and go home. You are not welcome on those streets. They are Sharia law patrolled streets. You cannot do anything that is haram, that goes against Muslims' belief systems. And now they're openly saying, yep, they're creating their own security firms. Yep, these firms will absolutely introduce Sharia law. That is what they'll be patrolling for. So if you're anywhere in Birmingham, Manchester, or London, you can expect someone to come up to you if you're having a beer out in the street and say, hey, no, that's not welcome here. You need to change your ways. Someone come up to you Isn't that just the London way, the British way, to immediately admit defeat and go along with whatever they say? If they say you can't do that, shouldn't you just say, okay, I won't do it anymore? I'm going to change everything about myself to appease you. Good stuff. Absolutely love that. Love that for England. Love that for the English people. That is a beautiful thing there. We have Gracie on X, who has posted a migrant walked into this lady's salon and demanded a massage from her. At Fear Cheryl on TikTok, she has posted a video of herself talking about this encounter. Now, obviously, I have already listened to this video. And if you want to listen to it yourself, go to TikTok at feral_Cheryl_. And that's on TikTok. Now, what this is a woman that owns a salon, and a migrant walks in and says, hey, you massage me. And she says, no, we don't do that here. And secondly, this is a salon for women. You, in fact, are a man. And the immigrant says, no, you massage me. You massage me now. You do it. At that point, another woman walks up from the back rooms, and the immigrant realizes the woman there isn't alone. There's other women there too. So what does he do? Does he just say, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you? Did he say, oh, I didn't realize this was a women's only salon, and then give her a hug and walk off? No, what he did is he huffed at her and then walked out of the shop, probably gonna go out and harass another woman out on the street, in another salon. They don't give a fuck where, but they will likely harass another woman for a massage, or just for not wearing a niqab or hijab. Who the fuck cares? Yep. Good stuff. What a country we live in. Or just for not wearing a niqab or hijab. We have Miss Joe, who has said on X, you won't believe this, I didn't, but it's true. Astound me, Joe. Come on, Miss Joe. Let's be amazed together, shall we? In Aarhus, Denmark, a 37-year-old woman met a migrant in a bar and ended up imprisoned in a flat where she was subjected to a gang rape by 3 men for 6 hours. One of the men, an Eritrean national, was caught and deported. The other 2 Eritrean nationals were being actively hunted, and Denmark put out an international appeal with their names and photos. So keep this in mind. Denmark have probably done exactly what they should have done, which is they've apprehended the one that they caught and they've deported him. They've got rid of him. Now he's not a problem to other women in their country. But the other 2 have unfortunately managed to get away. So what they've done is they've put out the pictures, they've put out an appeal, they've put out the names of these guys that are rapists. They are rapists, and they've put out their names and photos to find them. Where would they go? Where would they go now? Would it be criminal sanctuary Britain, UK, where we do absolutely fuck all checks whatsoever? Yes, I think that'd be where I'd go. Let's see where this leads. Let's see where this fucking monster ends up. The other 2 Eritrean nationals were being actively hunted in Denmark and put in international appeal for their names and photos. The men fled to France and then took small boats to the UK. They gave their real names. They didn't even give fake names. They thought, fuck it. The UK is that useless. Even if we give our real names, which Denmark is looking for us, it's active. They are being hunted by Denmark. We'll still use our real names because we don't give a fuck. We realise that UK is fucking useless. They gave their real names and they were still let into the UK. They were then given food, accommodation, and support by the UK government. No checks were done against an international database, which would have shown their status as suspected rapists wanted in Denmark. So a very simple thing to do there. They've actually given their names. All they'd have had to do, type that into a computer and say, you're wanted, mate. You are wanted. You are not coming into Britain because we don't want you raping our women and children. In fact, we'll probably grab you now and deport you to Denmark, where you can face justice. Did England do that? Did they fuck? No, they absolutely did not. So these guys have been in England now for 18 months. No, they absolutely 18 months they've been here. Absolutely incredible. They've been eating our food. They've been living in the hotels. They've been living the high life. And this wasn't even brought to light that they were wanted criminals. They have now been deported to Denmark and faced the justice system. So yeah, it took 18 months, 18 months to find these criminals and do the right thing. This reminds me of Keir Starmer once again, where he said to Donald Trump, no, you can't use our bases. Absolutely not. Even though we're allies, even though we probably have the best relationship of any two countries throughout the world, you still absolutely cannot use our bases. Relationship of any two countries throughout the world. And then 2 months later says, yeah, sure, you can use our bases. Brilliant, nice one. What a fucking idiot he is. And of course, we all know by now that by the time the HMS Dragon, I believe it was called, by the time that got there, they weren't needed. The war's pretty much over. The IRGC in Iran have fallen. They're just a few soldiers now in the streets that are still killing people, but they will be hunted down in no time. Trust me, it's going to happen. We have Paul Weston, DEI, who has posted on X and has said DEI is dangerous. The surgeon below lost her job after patient suffered permanent brain damage during the operation/dance routine. Now, what does he mean by operation/dance routine? I hear you ask. That's very suspicious, isn't it? What does he mean by that? Well, there's a video, and this video shows the doctors. They're dancing about with tools. They're dancing about while you're on the table, unconscious. They're just dancing about, making TikTok music videos and stuff. If they damage your brain, whilst they're supposed to be working on you, they don't really give a fuck. You're not their tribe. You're not their people, you know. They're just here to do a minimalistic job, the least they can for an easy life, and then be on their way. That's all they want. So Britain now has a 36% foreign doctors and 30% foreign nurses. They are hugely overrepresented in negligence cases. So yes, I know of several cases where Indian doctors and nurses have come across with scanned and copied qualifications. So these people have no idea how to perform basic procedures, and yet they're here. They're in England. They're working on you. When you go to the hospital, they're saying to you, hey, I need to fucking cut into your knee and remove a bit of bone marrow. Why? Because you've got a cold. Fuck me, what a world we live in. Jesus, fuck me, Christ. Amazing, isn't it? Why? Because you've got a cold. We have Birmingham. You like that one, did you? We have Birmingham Live. Birmingham driver who ploughed into pedestrians at nearly 60 miles per hour has been jailed. A police investigation uncovered Jason Walker had been driving up to 56 miles per hour moments before he smashed into the pair in his Mercedes. Now, he has no remorse for this whatsoever. He ploughed into these two pedestrians in Birmingham at nearly double the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, and he has been jailed. They actually say that he had a complete disregard for anything, for any respect, any people, any pedestrians, cyclists. He did not give a flying fuck. He wanted to drive fast, and so he did. Now, this, as I understand it, is a white male, so he obviously got put in prison, and that's how it works, you know. Now, obviously, he's complete dickhead. What an absolute reprobate this guy is, and prison is absolutely where he belongs. But it does make me laugh when you read these stories, and it appears that it's only white people going to prison. A little bit suspicious that. I don't know why. We have Birmingham Live once again, but if you follow me frequently, if you watch these frequently, you'll remember me saying follow Birmingham Live. It's an app, you just download it onto your phone and it will give you all the latest news from Birmingham Live. And I have to say, they are pretty good. They're not like BBC News, like ITV News, these sort of mainstream media things that will just give you the shit news, the fluff pieces that you don't really care about, that don't actually reflect what's going on in society. No, they actually report real shit as well. So Birmingham Live on an app, go ahead and download it. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. There is so much shit that goes on in Birmingham. It is fucking phenomenal. So we have here a boy stabbed near Birmingham B&Q after argument on a bus as man is arrested. Amazing. So you've got a fully grown man there who should know better than first to argue with a young lad, and two, then to stab a fucking young lad. Let's check this out. Let's dig a little deeper into this. So we have the victim was knifed at Castle Vale's Dunlop Way near B&Q at around 3:40 p.m. on Friday, March 27th. The youngster was rushed to hospital with injuries not thought to be life-threatening. They do say that a lot, and then you do find out that they die a few weeks or days later. Does anyone remember the story of the guy in Market Race in Lincolnshire that was suspected stabbed? Now, how you suspect somebody's been stabbed, I don't know. They've either got a fucking slit there where they've clearly been stabbed, or they fucking haven't. It's amazing how that works, isn't it? Well, he was sent to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and guess what? Unfortunately, very sorry moment, he did die. Very sad. Investigators understood the boy was stabbed following an argument with another passenger, a man aged in his 50s. This is a 50-year-old guy that got into a argument with a child, a teenager. It doesn't say what the age of this lad was. It just says that he is a boy. But this 50-year-old got into an argument with him, and then decided, well, I don't like you, I'm going to stab you. Fuck him. What a world we live in again. Skint Eastwood on X has posted, this school census data is eye-opening and deeply concerning. 72 schools with 0 white British pupils. 454 schools where white British kids are under 2%, and 1 in 4 schools across England, white British children are now in the minority. So even the schools that are considered standard, we're still in the minority now. So that is the new demographic of Britain. And if we just leave everything as it is, that's the new demographic of Britain. White people will be a minority. Because that's the next generation there in our schools. So if they're not majority white, then society won't be majority white in a few years. I mean, let's assume these kids are between the ages of 16 and about 6, 7. So let's say, another 15 years, we're going to be a minority. Good stuff. Absolutely brilliant. That's the way Keir Starmer likes it, isn't it? We have Britain is broken on X, who has posted breaking school teacher. By the way, this isn't breaking. This was posted a few hours ago. Obviously, I've just set it aside to bring it to your attention. It needs addressing. It needs to be talked about. School teacher caught on secret recording telling children that protesting against migrants means you are a Nazi. So that'll be good for the little kiddies, won't it? If they decide, hey, I don't like people in my country raping me, stabbing me, beating me up randomly. If I don't like those, then I'm a Nazi. I'm still the problem. No matter what I do, I'm the problem. What a message we're sending to our kids now. She also admits that she regularly attends the counter protests that call concerned citizens Nazis. So this is a lefty teacher that's forcing her ideology onto children, white children at that, I'd imagine, because they're the future. You know, if they can't get to you, if they can't convince you that you being stabbed, raped, and beaten up isn't a good thing, then they will convince your children. They will get to you through your children. They will teach your children that they should be hated. They will teach your children that they are the problem and that the invaders are oh so innocent little daffodils. We have David Atherton, who has posted on X to say, just when you don't think Sky News can't crawl into the gutter any further, up pops Sharman Sky News. Afghan migrant Ahmad Malukil, 23, brutally raped a 12-year-old girl, and her fixation is on the so-called far right. She reports that far-right groups are using this to push a political agenda. Righto, so from reading that, I can gather that the story there is a 12-year-old girl getting brutally raped by an invader, by a 23-year-old man. Now, does she focus on that at all in the interview? Nope. She instead turns the headline into far-right people are talking about this and we don't like it. We don't want you talking about these monsters that are in our country because it goes against Keir Starmer's narrative and our lefty ideology, doesn't it? Absolutely incredible. She herself is a black woman. I just want to point that out. So make what you will of that, you know? And our next story is Britain is broken. Meanwhile, in Birmingham, it's always Birmingham now, and they're in a contest with London to be the shittest city in Britain. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Gangs of feral, violent migrants took over the streets last night, causing absolute chaos. Windows smashed and passers-by absolutely terrified. This is the state of modern Britain. So yeah, the police, as you know, don't do anything. They are absolutely 100% useless. So what these youths have started doing is just going about in packs. And if you're in the road, they'll block that road, and then they'll just march up and down, smashing your windows, smashing your panels of your car with sticks, with rocks, with bars. There's a whole lot they're using there. They're getting quite creative with what they're going to attack your car with. There's a guy with a crutch there, so he's probably on benefits, saying that he's got, I don't know, broken legs, fucking God knows what he's claiming for, but he's using his crutch to attack cars that just want to get home, after our day's work. Again, what a fucking country we live in now. Absolutely amazing. You cannot make this shit up. I couldn't anyway. I don't have that much of a creative mind. I wish I did, but I just don't, you know. I can't make up that amount of bollocks. Only True Life Britain can come up with that amount of bollocks and and still function, apparently. Fucking hell. So next up we have, one second, my laptop is being a bit of a div at the minute, apparently. One second. It's trying, it's going for it. It's saying, hey, yeah, I am going to bring up this website. I'm going to open this page. And it's struggling, unfortunately. We have Grifty on X, who has said pub landlord tells council to get stuffed. He said, no way on God's earth he'll pay £260 fee for advertising boards on his own private land. I'm going to let that sink in for a moment while I have a drink. He'll pay £260 fee for advertising boards on his own private land. So this is a guy who owns a pub, and he wanted to put signs on his own land. It's his fucking land. It's his private land. And he wants to put signs on there to, I don't know, advertise a pie, let's say, and the council have said, well, we want £260 for that. Why? What the fuck have you contributed to this? Where the fuck is this coming from? That isn't your sign. It's not going on public property. So fuck off. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. If I owned a company and I want to put a sign in my window advertising my company, should the council then come around and say, well, you got to pay us for that? Fuck off. Absolute joke. This landlord is absolutely right. Why the fuck should he pay £260 to advertise on his private land in a pub? It's an absolute joke. That is just a council that knows it's gone bankrupt, trying to get as much money out of people that they can. That is all that is. They've just seen a little opportunity there. £260, fuck me, we'll have that. And I'm glad that somebody at last is standing up and saying, no, get lost, council. You have contributed nothing to these signs. You have contributed nothing to the well-being, the running, the maintenance of this pub, the advertising of this pub. You've contributed fuck all towards it. So why the hell do you deserve £260? Fuck off. We have Active Patreon, who says, shut up for the sake of diversity. This community cohesion officer, he looks a fucking prick. So if you want to have a look at this prick's face, go on to X and then look up Active Patriot, where it's been posted, and you can have a look at this utter fucking gimp. This community cohesion officer told a single mother living in Grimsby he would lock her up for racial incitement if she went to the press and told them about the illegals living in a HMO next door, terrorizing her daily. Do you see how that works again? You see how that works? They don't want to protect you, a British person. They don't want to protect you. They want you to shut the fuck up about anything these invaders are doing, because they want everyone to live under the illusion that the invaders are coming into this country, they're contributing, they're lovely people, they are fantastic. But that's really not the case. They come here, they don't give a fuck, and they see how weak our government is. They see how weak our police are. They see how weak the systems are that we have in place, and they manipulate that to the max. These invaders that live in this HMO right next door to this woman, who are inciting violence towards her, who are getting aggressive with her, who are terrorizing her daily, in this post's own words, they don't give a shit. They could not give a flying fuck. They know that they can get away with it. They know that the police are going to do absolutely nothing, so they will absolutely carry on doing what they are doing. That is an unresolved ongoing issue. Does anyone care? I genuinely don't know. Let me know if you do care. If you care a little bit about this woman, let me know. Birmingham Live have put out a story that says, man snatched off Birmingham Street. Birmingham again, fucking hell. Man snatched off Birmingham Street before being sadistically tortured in £3 million blackmail plot. That's a lot to read there. Fucking hell. Right, so let's dig a little diver into this. The victim was bound, beaten with weapons, had the tip of his fingers sliced off, and his legs burned with boiling water. Righto. A pair of sadistic cousins have been jailed for kidnapping and torturing a man in a plot to extort $3 million from his family. Luke Hazel investigated the plan, which saw balaclava-clad group snatch the victim off the streets in Los Eldes in January 2023. He was bundled into a Range Rover, then driven to a flat in Edgbaston, where he was tied up, beaten, and even his feet scalded with boiling water. The ordeal lasted several days before he was dumped naked in Winson Green, and members of the public called emergency services. Following a trial, Hazel, age 38, from Dovedale Road, was found guilty of conspiracy to kidnap, false imprisonment, blackmail, and causing grievous bodily harm with intent. Today, Friday, March 27th, at Birmingham Crown Court, he was jailed for 16 years and branded dangerous, resulting in an extended 5-year license period. Right, so let's break that down, shall we? So 16 years he's got for that. So he's left permanent scars on another man. He's embarrassed that man by leaving him naked in the middle of a road. He's absolutely just taken this man's life away potentially, because I don't know if that's anything that you can just get over. I've personally never been bundled into the back of a van and then sadistically tortured in a plot to get £3 million from my family, so I don't know if that shit lasts. I don't know if that stays in your mind for fucking ever, but this man does. He knows exactly what that feels like. He knows exactly what the repercussions are from somebody doing that. And 16 years, right? So the courts themselves have said these days you only need to serve 30% of your sentence. So what's 30% of 16, anyone? I'm going to guess that's about what, 5? 30%. That's about 5. That's about 5.3. Yeah, it is. 16 years. 16 years is 5.3333 recurring. So he needs to serve 5.3 years, and then he'll be back out on the street, likely ready to fucking take another person off the street and attack them and scold their feet and just fuck up their lives. What a country. Absolutely brilliant. I'm going to bring up a few more stories here, so just give me a moment. My laptop is a little slow, bear with it. It's a nice little laptop though. It makes me happy. It's the best that I could afford. Is a little right, so we've opened up some tabs now with some stories that we can go through, some news, some lovely news from Blighty. We have this is Birmingham Live again. Fucking Birmingham. England flags replaced in King's Standing hours after council removal. Round of applause. Cheer. We'll give them a round of applause as well. Let's have some laughter and applause. And the reason for that is that's all these people want to do, is just maintain their culture. They want their nationality to be recognized. Okay, you've got invaders over here raping, stabbing and beating people, while the indigenous people are just putting up flags. So who do the council attack? Who do the police attack? Well, of course, the people putting up flags. That's the ones that are causing the problems, is it not? Righto. So yeah, the council took these flags down. Why wouldn't they? And they were replaced. That's a newsworthy story that I'm sure BBC has picked up on that one. I'm sure they have. All the other shit that I've spoken about so far today, I absolutely urge you to go across to the BBC news app now and see if any of that shit that I've talked about today is any of that on there on the BBC website, because I guarantee you that England flag's replaced in King's Standing hours after council removed it. I guarantee that story will be there, but the rest of it fucking won't. A worthy news story up on that one. I'm sure they have. We have 1 second. We have Lincolnshire Live. We're getting around my areas now. We have man arrested after very loud bangs heard in Skegness. Armed police responded to very loud bangs on Churchill Avenue in the seaside town. The man was arrested after very loud bangs were heard in Skegness. Armed police officers were called to Churchill Avenue in the seaside town shortly before 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, March 26th, after reports that a man in the area was walking with weapons. A 40-year-old man was located and then arrested on suspicion of being in possession of bladed article and making threats to kill. He was taken into police custody. An update shared by Lincolnshire Police around 9:30 stated, "We have received a few calls of concern and understand that local residents may be heard some loud bangs. We'd like to reassure the community that these were not gunshots and no one has been injured or harmed. The bangs were related to tactics used by the police officers to effect the arrest safely." Yeah, that makes sense. But do you see the difference there? Do you see the difference between Lincolnshire Live and Birmingham Live? Do you see the big difference there? In Skegness, you've got stories like there were a couple of loud bangs the other day. Distracted me for a few seconds. In Birmingham, you've got man dragged into fucking Land Rover and beaten and tortured for a potential £3 million fucking bribery deal. Amazing. Incredible. What a world. We have GB News now, who have said they've put out a story saying, "Forget it. Nigel Farage launches furious tirade against United Nations after Britain told to pay trillions in slavery reparations." Let's not forget, these slave trades in Africa were already up and operational with the Arabs. They were already selling their own people as slaves to Arabic nations. That is fact. And the second thing to take into concern there, to consider, is that Britain spent a hell of a lot of time, money, resources ending slavery. We ended fucking slavery throughout the Western world. It's gone. It's over. Do we get any thanks for that? Do we get anyone pat us on the back and say, "Nice one, lads. I'll get you a pint in the next time we go to the pub because you fucking ended slavery in the Western world"? Do we get any of that? No, we don't. Instead, we're told, pay reparations. And let's also not forget that it was only the top 1% of British people, the top 1% of Americans that actually had slaves. The rest of us were working in mines, don't forget that. The rest of us were being beaten up on the streets by police when the police had a bit of fucking authority. But none of that's true anymore. It's all fucked. So as far as I'm concerned, these reparations, you can go fuck yourself, Lenny Henry and fucking Africa. Go fuck a goat is what I say. We have a British Patriot on X who have said, breaking, the EU has officially recognised Christianophobia for the first time ever. The European Parliament declared Christianity remains the most persecuted religion in the world today, with more than 380 million people affected. Finally, the suffering of Christians can be seen. Brilliant. So now I've got a victim card. I've been a white, straight male my whole life. If I try playing victim, everyone says, "Fuck off, mate, you've got the world at your feet." But now I've got a victim card. If anyone says anything untowards me in the street, anything, "You're Christianophobic." Brilliant. I'm going to call the police, have you arrested. Fuck me, what a country again. So everyone's literally just going to run around now going, "You're Islamophobic, you're Christianophobic, you're a bigot, misogyny." Everyone's just going to be throwing buzzwords at each other rather than actually having a conversation and sorting out any issues. Because let's face it, you're not going to live in a population of nearly 70 million people here in Britain without having a few fucking issues with a few fucking people, are you? Jesus fucking hell. Believe it or not, I'm in my happy place right now. I like moaning, and this suits me down to the T. I just moan about shit online. It's fantastic. We have Ben on Wine, who has said, who has posted the RAF paused training over 160 white pilot candidates, not because they failed, but because of diversity targets and the fact they were white. MOD later admitted it's unlawful. So the army themselves, the RAF, the MOD, they've admitted this happened. They've admitted that it was unlawful. A recruiter even quit over it. Well done to that person, by the way. The recruiter that quit, that said, fuck that, I ain't going to be involved in this. Well done to them for quitting. In the military, though, of all places, how does merit come second? Yes, as I'm sure you well know, we used to live in a meritocracy. And what that means is if you are the best person for the fucking job, you get the fucking job. You are promoted on how well you do your job. You are hired on what qualifications you have and your capabilities of doing your job. Nowadays, you're hired because you're black. You're hired because you're gay. You're hired because any other fucking 50 reasons that just don't matter in the workplace. I do not give a flying fuck if you're black, white. I do not give a shit if you're lesbian, straight, and you're a doctor. I just want my fucking heart looked at before the fucker explodes. All right? It doesn't matter what nationality you are. It doesn't matter anything. Meritocracy is the way to go. If somebody said to me, hey, do you want this doctor to work on you? He's got 18 fucking degrees. He's been a doctor for 20 years. He's fantastic. Or you can have this doctor who's Indian. I'll take the one with all the fucking qualifications. That's what the fuck I'll do. Jesus Christ. But no, in England now, they hire the Indian doctor. Why? Because he's Indian. Because he's Indian. That's it. Amazing. What Ben on Wine has posted, what the fuck? How is changing history to suit false woke narrative teaching and educating anyone? And this is with regards to a new Amazon show where the King of England is portrayed as black, gay, and disabled. Well done. Another applause there. They've hit all heads there. They've ticked all the boxes there in one character. Well done. The King of England is a black, gay, disabled man. The only thing they missed there, which I'm genuinely surprised they didn't do, is have a woman instead. Why didn't they go with the King of England being portrayed by a black, gay, and disabled woman? Why not? That would have hit every box. And it doesn't matter about facts. It doesn't matter about what actually happened in history. Because fuck it, we'll rewrite that. Because ideology. Because narrative. Because fuck knows. Because people nowadays, they don't give a shit about what's actually happening. They don't give a shit about what our history actually stood for, what our ancestors actually stood for, what they fought for. They don't give a crap about any of that. They would rather just say, hey, let's bow down to all these people coming over, taking the jobs, taking the benefits, taking every fucking thing they can get their hands on. And yet they've even said themselves, if we actually ever go to war again in Britain, they would not be there. They would fuck off back to their own countries. They're not going to get called up. I am. And I can tell you now, I've got the same mentality as those immigrants now. I would happily say to my government, fuck off. I will not fight for you. I would actively fight against you in our homeland. We have Based and Bougie on X, who has said that the UK plans to lend 746 million to Nigeria to help them refurbish their ports. So remember, your taxes are going up, your fuel duty's going up. Remember how much the petrol's gone up for? Next time you go and put petrol in your car, just look at that money tick over. Where's it going? Nigeria. To ports. Amazing. The consistent aid given to Africa is getting out of hand. Africa, who want reparations, by the way. It's not enough that we give them all this shit. They're still fighting us to get reparations. Good stuff. Yeah, they I can't fucking believe that. So yeah, they want reparations. We've just given them 746 million so that they can have some nice ports built. Isn't that wonderful? Oh fucking Nora, that is just incredible. The world doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if it's because I'm incredibly dumb or because the world just doesn't fucking make sense anymore. What is going on? If you've got a country that's being taxed out of their arseholes, that can't afford to do anything, the economy is shrinking, local towns, cities, and villages, all their shops are going, supermarkets are disappearing. Everything that's decent within that culture is disappearing, right? Why the fuck would you then give all that country's money away to another country? Why? Why would you do that? Why would you let in people from that country that wish to do you harm? Why would you let them into that country that's already broke? What the fuck is going on? It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. And of course, there's a picture here as well with Keir Starmer looking like an absolute fucking cunt with the Nigerian. What is it? Do they have a? Is it a president or a PM or what? Apparently, it's just an African politician that he stood there with as he hands over your taxes, 746 million of them, to Nigeria. Good stuff. That makes me really happy today. Next time I go into a pub and my pint is fucking £7, I'll just think to myself, hey, Nigeria is going to do well out of that. Brilliant. We have Nottinghamshire Live now, which have said Nottinghamshire's police officers barred after failure to investigate woman's rape allegations. Let's dig a little deeper into this one. The 6 officers all failed to act on a woman's repeated rape allegations when they attended a flat in Nottingham city centre. Remember how I said the police are useless? Well, let's prove it right now. 6 Nottinghamshire police officers have committed gross misconduct as they failed to investigate a woman's rape allegations. The 6 police officers, PC Daniel Mitchell, PC Jake Self, PC George Ginger, PC Lucy Willett, there's a woman in there involved, and 2 police constables whose identities are protected by reporting restrictions. Why? Why are they protected? They're just as guilty as the other 4 officers there. So why shouldn't they be named? They attended a flat at 1:45 a.m. on January 1st, following reports of a woman would not leave the address and had assaulted someone inside the property. So the officers attended. Once at the scenes, officers found a woman in bed with a man naked from the waist down, with 2 other men sat in the room, all of them intoxicated. The woman made repeated claims that she had been raped by all 3 men in the room. However, they were not arrested, and the officers did not record any allegation of rape on the police log. So this is a woman that's been found stripped from her waist down in a room with 3 men, and the police and has said, I've been raped, and the police haven't even logged it. They haven't even logged on to their little shitty system and said accusation of rape. They've done nothing. Absolutely disgusting. Instead, what they did do is they arrested the woman on suspicion of breach of the peace. So she's been raped by 3 different men, found with her waist stripped bare, and they arrest her for breaching the peace. Please don't breach the peace while you're being raped. Try to be considerate of your neighbours while 3 men... Fucking Jesus Christ. Absolutely disgusting, this country is. And this was 6 officers. This wasn't one officer that thought, I don't want to deal with this, or that thought, I'm not going to log this because it's going to come off bad on these 3 men. This isn't an officer that thought anything else, you know. This was 6 officers, all of them there. All of them went along with this and decided not to help this woman who had been raped. And in fact, they went against the woman for arresting her for breach of the peace. Absolutely disgusting. Every police officer in this fucking land resign. You are absolutely useless. While the officers were in attendance, she also claimed she had been battered and stated her genitalia felt sore due to the alleged rape. Yes, after being Yet, after being led into the property's hallway and being de-arrested, she was eventually left to walk home alone through Nottingham city centre on what has been described as the busiest night of the year for incidents. Absolutely disgusting. So they've clearly just arrested her to get her out of the room, and then once she's out of the room, go on, fuck off, go home. Absolutely disgusting. What a mess this country's in. Okay, a man has died. Oh, yeah, I went through this earlier. This came up. A man dies in Market Racing after stabbing, as police have made an arrest on suspected stabbed wound. Well, he was stabbed. He's now dead. So I'm pretty sure it's not a suspected stab wound now. I'm pretty sure they actually stabbed him, being he's, well, dead. No? Okay. So yeah, when this was first brought to light, they did say that this man went to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. How often do we hear that in this country? Well, they clearly were life-threatening injuries because he died. So it's life-threatening. That is the fucking definition of life-threatening, is it not? Jesus. So our next story, our next report says Nottinghamshire Live have put out a story that says Nottingham stalker Alex Belfield back in prison after breaking the rules. This is a former BBC Radio Leeds presenter who was released from prison last June, and he's already recommitted an offence and has been taken back to prison. He is convicted, obviously, stalker. He's convicted stalker. Alex Belfield is back behind years, less than a year after his release from prison. So obviously he learnt his lesson, didn't he? Obviously he went to prison with the strict ways that they enforce it, and they're not weak at all, are they? The CPS, they're not weak. So he learnt his lesson and will never do anything again. Well, yeah, he's back in prison. Good stuff. He was jailed in September 2022 over what a judge described as a vicious and continued campaign of abuse against 4 people. Belfield targeted 2 BBC presenters, a videographer and a theatre blogger, and was found guilty of simple stalking regarding BBC broadcaster Jeremy Vine and theatre blogger Philip Dehaney. So yeah, basically this is a lefty that just didn't want other BBC presenters reporting on things that he didn't deem acceptable to be reported on, and so he stalked them. He's a cunt. Fuck him. Right, we're coming up to 56 minutes now. What I'm going to do before we end this show, is let's just take a quick look at the BBC. I think my computer's crashed. What a fantastic day, everyone. See if I can do it on my other computer. No, it's working again. Right, let's take a look. So all these stories that I've gone through today, everything that I've told you today, let's see what the BBC is reporting on as we speak. Let's see what their big story is today. So we are logging into BBC News. Let's go for UK. Let's go for new UK news on the BBC website. Let's see what they're reporting on. They are reporting on drug warnings review after some patients misled over impulsive behavioural side effects. So they're reporting on side effects from a few drugs that people have taken. Righto. That seems important news. None of that is none of everything that I've gone through for the last hour as important as a drug warning review. So none of those rapes, none of those murders. The guy in Birmingham that got bundled into a Land Rover, taken away, that's not important. What is important, what's the first thing that comes up on the UK BBC News website? The first story is drug warning review. Incredible. What else have we got? We've got ultrasound delays putting pregnant women and cancer patients at risk, sonographers say. Isn't that a big story? Well, fuck me, I'm going to the pub after this. I'm going to talk about that for another 6 hours. Arrests after major fire tears through historic mill. Amazing. This is the news that they put out. It's absolutely disgusting. They do not report on anything real. They report on nonsense. They give you the fluff pieces. Absolutely disgusting. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day there before my dog starts ripping the place apart. Have a good day. Try to behave. And if you can't, pretend you're an invader and you'll probably get away with whatever you do. That's great, isn't it? Cheers. Have a good day. Yeah. Yeah.